It's Shane with Yes to Jesus Ministries. And today I just want to bring you a word from Ephesians. It's Ephesians 4:26. Many of you are familiar with this. It says, "Be angry and do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your anger." And this can be a little bit, I don't know if puzzling is the right word, but I've seen it taught a lot of different ways where it's like basically you have to call whoever you may have a disagreement with or some unforgiveness with and like hash everything out that day. Or if it's like husband and wife, you got to make sure and talk everything all the way through like that day. And those are good practices. I'm not saying they are not. But recently, someone was speaking with me about the love chapter of the Bible, 1 Corinthians 13. And when they got to verse 5, it says a lot of things, but love keeps no record of wrongs. It just lit up for me, and I realized that this was a sister verse to don't let the sun go down on your anger. And so what I'm saying is hey, you're not going to keep a record of wrongs. Now, that doesn't mean that everything necessarily has to be completely hashed out and settled, but I would suggest to you that this is like a record of debts. Like if you think about it, Jesus forgives us for everything, right? He's not keeping a record of that. Like our debt, the handwriting of requirements against us is wiped out. However, sometimes there's still consequences for things we do in this life. Like you might, if somebody committed a crime, they could still have a criminal record, though they might be forgiven in heaven. And so sometimes that criminal record, though they might have favor with God, certainly there's still some circumstances where this could come into play. It's still a dynamic, even though their eternal record is wiped clean. And so I would suggest to you that it's very similar in that basically that person owes you nothing. And they haven't, moreover, invaded your peace. Because that comes from God. It's peace beyond understanding. It is you being in right relationship with the Lord and therefore not holding this against somebody. Like you're not allowing them to take anything from you. So there's no debt. Their account in your book, on your ledger, is not negative because of something they've done or said. I mean, I realize this could be a church, it could be an organization, a company, it could be all kind of things. But you're keeping no record of that. It doesn't mean you're not better prepared, perhaps with some wisdom for next time that you interact. And actually, what you should be is better prepared to love them through some challenging circumstances. And moreover, you should be better prepared to intercede for them. Because if they've done some thing to you that's caused you to have to calibrate based on whatever it might have been, you have a perspective into their life and into the dynamics of their heart that is unique and can be very powerful because you have access to the Lord of all creation. The veil has been torn and you can go boldly before the throne of the Lord for them. Remember, our war, our battle is not against flesh and blood, right? But principalities, against the ruler of the air, those that seek to set themselves up in high places or heavenly places where they don't belong. And ultimately, that is what is going on. And so when you are a citizen of the kingdom of God, then you're able to interact. Ideally, if you're staying in tune with the Lord and spending time with Him, having that intimacy with Him, reading His Word, feeding your spirit rather than your flesh, then you're not going to be in this state of anger and unforgiveness. You're not going to let the sun go down on your anger, because whether or not you're able to hash it out with them or not, you can take it before the Lord. He says, my yoke is light. Well, why is it light? What? Because he's already wiped out the handwriting of requirements. We don't have to carry the weight of the world. It's light because he is light. Like your yoke is made of light. Like sunshine, right? Maybe that sounds strange, but how much does light weigh? Nothing. Because you're a citizen of a kingdom where the light always shines. Have you read there's no sun there in eternity? Why? Because he is the light. So rather than carry the weight of the world or some burden that's created by this situation, you can take it before the Lord and be refreshed and be renewed and be in a state of meekness and peace in such an overwhelming manner that their account's not negative with you. There's no record of that wrong. You're better prepared for the future and to intercede. But you are not blown around like a reed in the wind. So don't let the sun go down in your anger. Take everything before the Lord. And yeah, hash it out with people when you can. And if you can't that day, the Lord will make the right time. May this bless you.